Hey everybody, welcome to Move to Combat. I'm James and here are your host Haley.
Hey, what's up you guys?
And Kenny.
Hey.
We're off to a great start today.
Yes, we are.
You'll have to forgive us. It's been a minute. Sometimes life happens and you have to take a break from doing the stuff that you want to do because life sucks.
Yeah.
So we're sorry we've been gone for a minute.
Each of us is to blame for one of the weeks we missed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Like I said, we're adults. Life happens. Sometimes
we're
you just gotta
we couldn't meet last week because I literally wasn't here and we broadcast out of my house, so it's kind of a problem.
If he's not here, then we don't have equipment, and if we don't have equipment, it'd be like really awkward, like us on our phones.
You could still pretend.
No, it'd be a webcam.
You guys could still pretend to do a podcast, like at home.
No, man.
We just sit on our living room floor going, so did you hear about the new Commander 2019 stuff, Kenny?
What?
Oh my god.
So that's what we're talking about today is Commander 2019, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So,
We're just like a week late.
No, because it doesn't come out till this weekend.
That's true.
So we're a week later than other podcasts.
We're a week late, but
we're
also
more
several days early.
We're also several days
That
early.
is a glass half full outlook.
And that is the most optimistic I've ever heard you sound in your life, James.
Really?
Yeah.
Saying something.
So welcome back to Move to Combat. We missed you guys. We love you guys. And today we're going to be talking about all the new Commander 2019 stuff that comes out this Friday.
I'm super excited for 3 of these decks.
I am super excited for one of them. I mean, like, I think the concept this year is definitely interesting because instead of basing it off like a card type or
Yeah, they're basing it off mechanics.
basing it off like a thing, they're basing it off actual mechanics instead of like a general theme.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. They're not all of my favorite mechanics, but I think that what they did with them was very interesting.
What they are, though, is a bunch of mechanics that needed support in the Commander metagame.
True.
Like, if I remember correctly, Morph, the only real deck that was able to pull off Morph was Animar. And even then, Animar has way more powerful options, so no one did it.
Animar is just stupid by herself, so why would you play Morph when you can just...
Guys,
More things.
Is there a banding?
No.
I think he just broke himself.
I think so, too.
Alright, so pretty much what we're going to be getting into today is each of the 4 decks, what they are, what the different commanders for them are, and then all of the new cards that have been introduced for the decks.
Mm-hmm.
Because as every year happens, we get new commander cards, which is probably my favorite part about the commander decks coming out.
16? I want to say? No. Yeah, 16.
I'm going to take Kenny's word for it.
Yeah, because it was 4 for each deck.
I thought it was 3 in each deck. It's 4 each deck?
It's 4. 3 of that are all 3 colors, or all 2 colors, depending on the colors in the deck, and then 1 that is 1 less.
Yeah, so there's 3 new commanders. There's 3 new commanders for each deck. So it's like the commander that the deck was built around, and then 2 other 3-color legends. Well,
3 or 2 color legends, depending on the colors.
whatever the deck colors are, like 2 other legends that could replace that.
Because of course the red-black deck had to be weird.
Of course.
It had to be different.
They had to have a different deck. They couldn't just stick with the 3-color theme. They had to throw one in there that was like, caution to the wind.
Yeah, but a lot of...
Is Soul Ring in there?
No.
we did get some really cool reprints though, like Seaboard News.
Didn't we get a new art for Soul Ring too?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we got a new art for Soul
But
Ring.
we got a Seaboard News reprint.
We did, which is awesome.
Like, I'm super excited trying not to bang on the table because it messes up all of our mics.
And James yells at us when we bang on the
Yeah,
table.
I tend to flail, and I'm trying really hard.
I can see his hands shaking right now. For those of you who can't see Kenny, he's literally sitting over here like vibrating with energy, trying not to hit the table.
But Seaboard Muse is like every green commander deck's best friend.
Yes.
Any green commander deck that has instant speed options.
To remind me what Seaborn Muse does.
Seaborn Muse is a 5-mana 2/4 that untaps all your permanents on each of your opponent's untap steps. Or untap steps.
God.
I'm gonna tap out everything and play a bunch of stuff. It's your turn now, untap all of it.
Yeah! So,
Let's
it's a lot of fun.
For vigilance for everything.
Well, it's more like you have untap mana on each of your opponent's turns,
I
and you
know.
can spend all of it.
It sucks.
It's great when you're playing blue as well, because then you're like,
Counter
I'm
spell.
gonna tap down all my stuff. Cool, untap. Would you like to play something? I am playing blue. There's this one card right here that may or may not.
Well, you don't even need to say counter spell. You just gesture to all of your untapped mana.
Do you wish to concede? Alright, but we should dive into this, because we do have quite a few new cards to talk about today.
Yeah.
So, first deck, Faceless Menace, the Sultai deck. It is based around the morph mechanic, which I thought was interesting in Sultai.
There's actually a lot of cool black morph creatures.
I noticed that after I saw the deck and looked into it, but I'm so used to seeing it like in the blue and the greens that I was like, black, interesting. And then I was like, oh, wait, there is a lot.
Yeah, a lot of the old morph creatures are black, but Sultai or morph has typically been teamer colors from concept card here forward, just because teamer's mechanic was morph and ferocious. Like a mix of the two.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so starting with the commanders of the deck, I do believe the intended commander is Kadena?
Kadena, yeah.
Is that how you say it? Kadena?
That's how I say it.
Kadena. Don't come for us. We don't know how to pronounce all these names. It's just part of life. The Slinking Sorcerer, she's a 4-drop, 1 in Sultai colors for a 3/3. She is a Naga wizard, and the first face-down creature spell you cast each turn costs 3 less to cast, and whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get to draw a card.
Turns out, the morph cost on everything is how much?
3 or less, usually.
3! It's exactly 3.
Is it?
Yeah, it's always 3. So your first morph creature is free each turn. And then you get a card for it.
Who doesn't love card advantage? So yeah, she's definitely very good for the intended purpose of being a morph deck. Just so much value there.
I think outside of like the combo potential of Animar, Kadena is probably the de facto morph commander.
I would say so, yes.
Just because as long as you're able to cast spells on your opponent's turns, the first spell you cast each turn doesn't have to be yours, draws you a card. So you could be like, play a morph guy. All my untapped mana to flip over my morph guys. Play another morph guy on your turn, draw a card. So you can just keep kind of just refilling. Your cards are replacing themselves with her in play. It's really good.
So then the other 2 commanders we have for this deck that you could potentially switch out Kadena for are Rayami, First of the Fallen, also 4-drop, 1 in Sultai colors for a 5/4 vampire that says if a non-token creature would die, exile that card with a blood counter on it instead, and as long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it has flying, Rayami, the First of the Fallen, has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Protection, Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. That is a mouthful.
Yeah, I think this is one of the first out of very, very few Voltron commanders in Sultai colors. If I remember correctly.
You are probably remembering correctly.
The ones I can think of are Rayami and then the big dragon. What's it called? The one that you play all the time.
The big dragon that I play
the
all the
Sultai
time?
dragon, yeah.
Oh! Vrosh?
Vrosh, the one that puts counters on himself?
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, Vrosh and Rayami are the ones that I think of specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you just kind of get value off of... It doesn't even have to be your creatures. It can be your opponent's creatures, too. So, as long as you're just
as long as an exiled creature card with a blood counter on it.
Yeah. So, you could just run a whole bunch of spot removal and sweepers with Rayami, give Rayami indestructible somehow, and then just profit off of all the keywords.
You definitely profit off of all the keywords here.
Which just
all of the keywords.
Makes it really hard to interact with, then slap some swords on it and go.
This is why nobody likes playing Commander. The other Sultai commander we have is Volrath of the Shape Stealer. He is... I believe that's a he.
Volrath's a guy.
Volrath definitely looks like a guy. We're gonna go with guy. 5 mana, 2 in Sultai colors for a 7/5 shapeshifter, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. And then secondary abilities, you can pay 1 generic mana until your next turn. Volrath the Shapestealer becomes a copy of target creature with a counter on it, except it is a 7/5 and has this ability.
It's also really cool.
This is good.
Shapeshifter decks are a lot of fun. Because you get to have your opponent's creatures, and if they're playing good cards, you're playing good cards.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm really happy they finally gave Volrath a card. And if you don't play Volrath Stronghold in here, shame.
Shame.
I don't even remember what it does, but it has his name on it. I would totally make a Volrath tribal deck out of him just because we've been waiting for a card from him for so long.
Well, Commander is usually the time where we get those kinds of cards.
Yeah.
So,
We got a
last
whole
year
bunch
we got,
of new Weatherlight cards, too.
Yes, last year we got Lord Windgrace, and we had been waiting for, we had heard of Lord Windgrace in the lore forever, and then we finally got the card.
I think it's in the auxiliary sets because we also got Urza and Sarah in Modern Horizons.
That is true. That we did. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other new cards that come exclusively in this deck.
Okay, so I'm going to take this one because it's blue.
I'm going to let you do it.
It's beautiful. So Kadeena's Silencer is probably one of the few cards out of the set that we're going to see actually find play in other formats. It's a 2-mana 2/1 with Morph, which is 3, and then the Megamorphs for 2, a blue and a 1. And when it's turned face up, you counter all abilities your opponents control. So all the abilities your opponents control in the stack when this flips face up are removed from the stack.
It's
So
mean.
this thing shuts down Storm decks, and it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. Sudden Substitution is double blue and 2 for an instant. It's got split second, so no one can interact with it outside of just ending the stack, which they can't do because it's split second. So I guess not at all.
Just not at all.
It just happens. And you exchange control of target non-creature spell and target creature. Then the spell's controller may choose new targets for it. So when it gets cast, you choose a creature and you choose a spell.
Mm-hmm.
And then the controller of the spell, the new controller, you, choose new targets for that spell, and then you get a creature for 4 mana.
Oh, before the might of.
So someone could like Banefire, right?
Yeah.
And then you could be like, you could titter to yourself quietly because you're playing blue, and then Windmill Slam Sudden Substitution and shoot the Banefire back at them.
Yes.
And then they're dead. And then the last card on here is Thought Sponge. It's kind of a fixed Notion Thief, a little bit. It's a 4 mana, 1/1, 3 in blue, with Flash, and when it enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters on it equal to the greatest number of cards an opponent has drawn this turn. When Thought Sponge dies, you draw cards equal to its power. So you can, instead of stealing your opponent's draws, you can still wheel a bunch and make someone's hand huge. Play Thought Sponge, and then it's this huge creature they have to deal with, and when you don't need it anymore, you pitch it for more cards.
The other thing to be careful about this is if you're loading your hand up as well as everybody else's hand, this could draw you out of the game.
Oh, it definitely could.
It's funny.
But it's blue. So why stop it?
Laboratory Maniac.
Yeah. Jason Laboratory Maniac.
Because that's what we need.
Now there's 2 versions of that effect.
That's what we need. More than one way to play a Lab Maniac deck.
Yeah, let's do it.
Next.
Going over some of the black and green cards, we have Gift of Doom, which is a 5-drop enchantment, 4 generic and 1 black. You enchant creature. An enchanted creature has Death Touch and Indestructible. It's got Morph, sack another creature. And then, as Gift of Doom is turned face up, you may attach it to a creature.
It's a Morph enchantment. That's really cool.
It's a Morph enchantment, which is, yes, really cool. But also, who doesn't love Death Touch and Indestructible?
This is actually more mana efficient to Morph because it's a 5-mana enchantment.
Correct.
And then if you have Kadena down in play, you draw a card off of it. So
yeah, so you basically play this for getting to sack another creature.
Yeah.
And if you're running like a bunch of little non-existent dudes or some sort of like aristocrats,
Or like a bunch of more creatures
or a
that
bunch
do the
of
thing
more
when they flip and then die.
yeah, they do the thing and then die. This is perfect for that. Next up, we have Thieving Amalgam, which is a 7-drop, 5 generic, and 2 black for an ape snake that is a 6/7. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest the top card of that player's library. And what that means is you put it onto the battlefield face down as a 2/2 creature, and then you turn it face up at any time for its mana cost, if it's a creature card. And then whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, the owner loses 2 life, and you gain 2 life. Although the loser is probably correct wording, but
Yeah. Whenever one of the creatures that you took from an opponent dies, they lose 2, you gain 2.
Yeah.
So since a manifested card counts as a creature, you're basically just setting up a wall.
You're basically just stealing. You're basically stealing their cards.
Yeah, but you don't even have to use them.
You don't
can
have
just
to
build
use
a
them.
wall and then just chuck Krill in them underneath a big attacker.
You could totally do that to gain you a bunch of life and lose them a bunch of life, but also if you're stealing their badass creatures off the top of your deck.
Yeah. Turns out also, since Kadena triggers off of a face down creature entering the battlefield, you draw off of the card Kadena's in play as well.
Yeah. So this just gives you a lot of value to play with.
Yeah.
And then Apex Altasaur. It is a 9-drop, 7 generic, and 2 green for a 10/10 dinosaur, and when it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. And it has Enrage, and its Enrage ability says, whenever Apex Altasaur is dealt damage, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control.
Okay, so it fights everything until it dies.
Yes.
Got it.
Fights everything until it dies.
It's kind of a 9-mana sweeper.
Only kind of.
This is cool if you have some way to give it indestructible and just wipe the board.
Like, for example, Gift of Doom.
Yeah, Gift of Doom would do it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anything that gives it indestructible just makes it like an infinite.
But it is a 9-mana sweeper.
It is a 9-mana sweeper with limitations, so it's a 10/10. So if it doesn't have indestructible or anything like that, you paid 9 mana to deal 10 damage.
Probably kill like 3 or 4 creatures.
Doesn't feel too good.
But best case scenario, probably the average is going to kill 3 or 4 creatures on the table.
Yeah, and also keep in mind too that you could the trigger off of this. I mean, it fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. So they only have 1 creature on the board. So you take like 3 damage. It's dealt damage, but nobody else has any more creatures you can control, so you can't deal any more damage. So then it lives to be the 10/10 that it is, and continue to deal damage.
Yeah, it doesn't loop onto your stuff, which is really nice.
Yes. Next, we have more.
Green and some black. A little bit of black. The first card is...
And black.
Mostly green. The first card that we're going to talk about is Road of Return, which is a 2-mana, double green, for a sorcery. You choose 1. Modal spells are beautiful.
Spells are great.
And it does have Entwine, so you can do both for 2 more mana. The first mode is you return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. And the second is you put your commander into your hand from the command zone. So it's kind of an Ewit type effect, which is really cool.
Yes.
Like reclamation effects are always really useful in Commander.
Yeah, it's a reclamation effect. On top of that, you're dodging commander attacks, potentially.
Yeah, which is always great.
Who doesn't love not paying commander attacks? Everybody loves not paying commander attacks.
Too bad this card's not black, so you can just run it with Phage.
Moving on.
Next card is Voice of Many. It's 4 mana, 2 green and 2 for a 3/3 elf druid. And when it enters the battlefield, you draw a card for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. So, I mean, this is a morph deck, so it's kind of a go wide little dudes deck.
Yeah, if you're morphing a ton and you've got all those things on the board, chances are most people are going to have less creatures.
You're usually going to draw between 1 to 3 cards.
Yeah.
Depending on what the board's like.
Which a 4 mana 3/3 that draws you like 1 to 3 cards?
4 mana 3/3 that draws you 1 card is decent.
That's decent, yeah.
It at least replaces itself.
I'd consider playing it at least.
And it's got a really important tribe on it, which is really cool. And elves go wide too, so... Hey, elf decks, there you go. Griswold the Dreadsower is one of our legends. I believe he's the only extra legend in the deck. He's a 3 mana, 1 a green and a black, for 3/3 Troll Shaman with Trample, and at the beginning of your end step, each player creates a 1/1 green plant creature token. And whenever a creature token dies, you put a +1/+1 counter on Griswold the Dreadsower. Kind of like a cheaper to cast Bloodbraid. Or not Bloodbraid, Crash.
I was like, Bloodbraid, where'd you get Bloodbraid from?
Crash the Bloodbraided.
Okay. Sure.
Crash. Though Crash is way more explosive and has an extra color in it.
Yeah, this just gives you actual things to do.
But Griswold has Trample.
Griswold does have Trample.
So he can get big real fast if you're playing him some way to keep him alive and then a whole bunch of sweepers, because he's making plants for your opponents.
Absolutely. Yes.
This is really cool, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I feel like he could be his own commander, and you could just build around that.
Easily.
That'd be a great deck.
Yeah.
Story for another day.
He's kind of the perfect CMC and power toughness, too. He's like perfectly costed for a commander. Okay, next slide.
We have to move on before we get stuck on that. We have Scroll of Fate, which is a 3-drop artifact, and you can tap it to manifest a card from your hand.
And just manifest a thing.
Manifest a thing. Like, wow, look at this land I have.
It's now a 2/2.
It's now a 2/2. Because I didn't need any more lands.
Yeah.
And then you've got Pendant of Prosperity, which is a 3-drop, another 3-drop artifact. When it enters the battlefield under the control of, it enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice, and you can pay 2, tap it to draw a card, and then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, and Pendant of Prosperity's owner draws a card, and then that player may put a land from their hand onto the battlefield.
I want to put this in Omnath.
Of course you do.
Real bad. This is a really cool politics card.
This is a very
because
politics
the
card.
effect is decided by the opponent that you give it to, because then they control the artifact. But you get cards and extra land drops for them needing lands. So you just like wait for either the white or the red deck, and it's like, hey, you need lands, and you just kind of elbow them, and then you just kind of slide it over. They're like, yay, and then you're drawing cards.
Yay! And then you're drawing cards. Yeah, see, so part of me thinks that this is really cool, and the other part of me is like, this could go one of 2 ways. This could be very, very good for both you and I, or it could be very, very terrible for me. And I don't like it when things go very terribly for me.
Well, you always choose the player that's the furthest behind in land drops, right? The one that's complaining about not getting their lands.
I only have 1 land.
Yeah.
Good, here, have some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, I think, next deck.
Okay, Mystic Intellect. Jeskai. Like, we need more Jeskai commanders. There's so many. The first one, and he's the title of the deck, the title commander, is Savine the Chronoplasm. He's 5 mana, 2 in Jeskai colors for a human wizard, 2/2, and he prevents all damage that would be dealt to him. And whenever you cast your first instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard each turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So the big mechanic behind this deck is flashback, or just playing spells out of your graveyard. So like flashback. Why am I forgetting the keyword? Jumpstart. That was only last year.
I was waiting for it.
So cards like that kind of lean into what Savine wants to do really, really, really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is Elsha the Infinite, and she's 5 mana, 2 in Jeskai colors again for a 3/3 with prowess. And she lets you look at the top card of your library, and then you may cast the top card of your library if it's a non-creature, non-land card, and you may cast it as though it had flash.
So good.
I think she's the best of the 3.
Yeah, if I was going to play this deck, I would probably play her, just because that gives your hand so much extension.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hitting, lands.
She's kind of like a Frenzy.
Kind of.
Or a Future Sight.
Yeah.
She extends your hand by 1 card, and then by playing the top card, she just keeps effectively drawing cards.
Build Jeskai Burn.
You could build Jeskai Burn.
Funny.
Jeskai Copy Burn?
Jeskai Copy Burn. Yes, 100%.
That'd be pretty funny.
I'm in. Never mind. I'm sold. I lied. I'm excited about 2 decks.
Was the first one Sultai?
No. We haven't talked about it yet.
Okay.
I like all 3 of these commanders, but the third one's making me go, oh my god.
Primacon? Yeah, Primacon is interesting because we just saw Arcades get a reprint. But Primacon, the Sky Rampart, is a 3 mana 1/5 with Flying and Defender. It's also a wall, so there's that. But as it enters the battlefield, you choose left or right, and then each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and Planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. So it's kind of like a Pillow Fort commander, almost. Or like a chaos commander.
I actually find it very interesting.
This is just like you attack you, and then you attack you, and then you attack you, and then you attack me, and then I attack you.
There's actually an enchantment that does the same thing. And you could do both and just stop all attacks. Which is fun. If you wanna...
Don't be that person.
Be in a bubble.
Please, for the love of God, do not be that person.
So what you're saying is...
So what I'm saying is...
Yeah, there's an enchantment that got printed in, I want to say either one of the commander sets or Conspiracy, that says when it comes into play, you choose a direction and players can only attack other players in that direction. I don't believe it protects Planeswalkers. But Pramicon does the same thing. And if you have two versions of the effect, you can choose two different directions and effectively nullify all damage. Or just say you can't attack.
Once again, do we understand? Is everybody in agreement on why we don't play Commander with Kenny anymore? Next slide, please. So, starting with some of the white cards, we have Mandate of Peace, which is a 2-drop instant. It is 1 generic and 1 white, and you can cast this spell only during combat. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn, and then you end the combat phase.
It's a fog. Kind of.
It's sort of a fog?
It's totally a fog because it ends the phase.
Yeah.
You can do it in response to...
It's like a little better than that, though, because you're removing all the attackers and blockers from combat, and then anything that was on the stack is just
gone.
Gone.
Yeah, it just ends the phase, which is really cool.
It exiles everything that was on the stack.
So then you wait for the goblin deck to come in at you with a bajillion goblins and burn spells, and you're like, no. And then they're sad.
And you're really sad. We also have Sabine's Reclamation, which is a 3-drop sorcery. It's 2 generic and 1 white. Return a target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the field. If this spell is cast from the graveyard, you may copy this spell, and you may choose a new target for the copy. And then it's got flashback for 4 generic and 1 white.
Yeah, this feels like Sun Titan.
Yeah, but not as good, because it's like a 2-time effect.
It's a 3-time. It's 3 with Sabine.
It's 3 times.
Or 4 with Sabine. Because it copies itself twice.
That's true, but it's still, it's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's like, definitely if you're playing like the Sun Titan thing and you're going for that, it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I still think it's a great card to think about when you're building a deck that has white in it. Just because having this and Sun Titan, if you don't have access to green, really helps.
Yeah, because it extends your graveyard.
It's reclamation.
It's recursion, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
So any time that you can play with more of the cards that you have, the better off you are. So when you have access to your graveyard, you're much better off than if you didn't have access to your graveyard. So
yeah.
In white, yes, there's a lot of good potential there.
Yeah, and I mean, it just says permanent, too. So
it does just say permanent, too. And then we have Athalia's Geistcaller, who is a 3-drop, 2 generic, 1 white for a 3/1 human cleric with lifelink. And then whenever you cast a spell from your graveyard, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, and if you sacrifice a spirit, she gains indestructible until end of turn. So once again, you're just extending what you're already playing.
I really like this card and like the Kai card decks that make a bajillion spirit tokens.
Yep. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Just because you have a way to keep it alive, and then if you roll like some flashback synergy in with it, then you can just kind of go ham.
Yeah, for sure. I think that like any of the just Kai decks that are playing out of their graveyards, period. This is
far and few between. This is kind of a big step up for Jeskai because they usually can't really play out of their yard at all.
Correct. But this deck alone creates much more access to that. So I think that it's, like I said earlier, being able to play with any sort of like recursion or reclamation, being able to play out of your graveyard and be able to use those cards multiple times just adds so much more value to what you're playing. And so the fact that they're now adding like a chunk of it in white, it makes white better.
So I'm realizing
white
now...
might no longer be one of the worst commander colors.
Yeah. I mean, it still kind of is.
It still kind of is.
For very specific
This
reasons.
is definitely giving it a step up, though, and I appreciate that.
Actually, back in the day, white had a lot of recursion to it.
Back in the day.
And it still does. It's second in recursion to black.
Mm-hmm. But not quite this kind of recursion.
Yeah, no. A lot of it's creature recursion.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really interesting way to go about it. But I'm realizing now, after I did the presentation, and I'm realizing I subconsciously did it in Woober colors.
As you should have.
It's not even conscious anymore.
That wasn't a conscious thing, Kenny. That was the list I gave you. It was in Woober.
Oh, was it Woober? I didn't notice that. Okay, moving on.
I've started training him.
Next, we have some of the blue cards. Mass Diminish, which is a 2-mana sorcery with flashback for 4, 3 and a blue. And until your next turn, creatures target player controls have base power and toughness 1/1. Which is always fun.
Transformed from brute to cute.
Yeah, make it cute. This is a really cool, almost sweeper.
Almost. It definitely could be if you've got like one of those things where it's like when it enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage.
Or just like an Elish Norn.
Yeah, some sort of Elish Norn or just anything.
Or like a Toxic Deluge.
Yes.
So I pay 1. Okay.
Yeah. This definitely supplements board wipes in blue.
Oh yeah, definitely. Our next card is Wall of Stolen Identity. It's another wall out of 2 new walls. Because who doesn't like walls? And you may... It's a 0/0, and you may have Wall of Stolen Identity enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it's a wall, in addition to its other types, and has Defender. When you do, tap the copied creature, and it doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as you control Wall of Stolen Identity.
Nice big commander you have there.
I'm just going to copy your Avacyn.
Yeah.
Tap it down, please.
Tap it down, please.
I was thinking of certain dinosaur commanders that are a problem all the time for me.
Yeah, but it's a defender, so it can't attack.
Any creature that's a problem for you.
It doesn't like remove the creature; it just taps it down. And
stop I know.
Just shut it down. Yeah.
It's almost worse. It doesn't remove the creature though.
I actually think it's better because you can neutralize a commander without removing it.
Worse for the person you're playing.
Well, yeah, because it just sits there and taunts you. It's like, look what I had that you have.
Yeah. So if you're playing like a creature like Rafik of the Many or Gishath or Narset that require you to attack with something,
you can't.
Yeah, you can't. The next card that we're going to go over is Empowered Auto Generator. It's a 4-mana artifact, and it enters the battlefield tapped. But you can tap it and put a charge counter on it, and then add X mana of any one color where X is the number of charge counters on Empowered Auto Generator.
Oh my god, they brought mana batteries back?
Yeah!
Yes.
Why?
So, this is like attracts decks that want to proliferate.
I was going to say, this is like my 5-color Super Friends deck, because, I mean, right now you've got, like, Astral Cornucopia, which is like 3X.
I believe Cornucopia adds any combination of colors, though.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, is it X of 1?
It's X of 1. But yeah, so, I mean, this is just 1 mana more, but it's like automatically adding those charge counters, and so it's not like, oh, I've got this that I pay 3 and it's tapping for 1 and now I have to wait till I have a proliferating engine online. It's like every time I tap it for mana, I'm getting more plus my proliferating.
Yeah, so in that way it's better than the mana batteries for sure. At first I was like,
it does lock you down to 1 color at a time.
Yes.
Right.
But it is something that can kind of get out of control.
Unless you're playing a Super Friends deck in which you have Oath of Nissa on the field, then you don't give a shit.
Yeah. If you have a way to just pay any color for what you're casting, then you don't care.
Yeah.
But this card seems like it can get out of control if it's left alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, for a rock.
Yeah, for a rock. Even in a monocolored deck, this is stupid chunks. You're like, tap it, add 14 blue. Whatever shall I do with 14 blue mana? Oh no!
I just want to say this. Good thing Paradox Engine got banned. Click.
Moving on.
Yeah.
We have Backdraft Hellkite.
Which is probably the best
You
card.
had an artifact in the middle of there.
I did, because there's only 2 blue cards in the new blue cards in the deck.
I don't know how I feel about that, Kenny. We'll talk about your...
I didn't want to roll red into blue,
We'll talk
man.
about your slideshow things later. But Backdraft Hellkite is 5 mana 4/4. It's 3 generic and 2 red for a dragon with flying. And whenever Backdraft Hellkite attacks, each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn, and the flashback cost is equal to its mana cost.
So this card is nuts. It's probably. I think it's going to see the most play out of any of the cards in the set.
I'm not so sure about that, but it will definitely see quite a bit of play.
Whenever it attacks, it's passive flames.
That's
passive
true.
flames.
Yes, that is true.
That's insane. And you're in red, so you just give it haste and go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it'll definitely see a lot of play. I think this is a card that will live on in the Commander format for quite some time.
Yeah. I just want to say, really, really fun idea. You can attach like a sort of Feast and Famine or a Bear Upper to it. So whenever it attacks or deals damage, it untaps all your lands.
Anyways, next up we have Dockside Extortionist. It's a 2-drop, 1/2, 1 generic, 1 red for a Goblin Pirate, and when it enters the battlefield, you create X treasure tokens, where X is the number of artifacts and enchantments your opponents control.
This is a cool equalizer.
This is really good against Kenny's classes.
Number of artifacts and
This
enchantments.
is just a Kenny hate card, and I'm here for it.
I have a banned enchantment deck, which is a lot of fun. But Dockside Extortionist kind of acts as a really cool equalizer in red.
It does.
So like blue decks and white and green decks that have ways of producing a bunch of permanents, either artifacts or enchantments, and generate lots of value out of it. Red could be like, cool, I'm going to get this many treasure tokens and then kill you with a fireball.
Yes.
Lark. It's a very, very red card.
This is a very red card, but it's a good red card.
Mm-hmm.
Next we have Ignite the Future. It's a 4-drop sorcery. It's 3 generic and 1 red. It says, exile the top 3 cards of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play those cards. If this spell was cast from a graveyard, you may play those cards without paying your mana cost. And it's got a flashback of 7 generic and 1 red.
Yeah, this card's really good.
Oops.
It's draw 3 cards and you can cast this until your next turn for free. You're cheating mana cost and you're drawing cards in red. It's actually a really rare effect in this color.
Yes and no, because it's actually really prevalent in standard right now.
Exiling the top cards and being able to play them is out of red is not rare, but being able to play them for free
is rare. Yeah.
That's usually a blue thing.
Yes, and that just makes it so much better.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Next
slide. We got Gerard. He's now white-red.
Yes.
And I think this is the only good Gerard, and even then he's like, okay.
Can I say something about this card before we talk about the actual card?
Yeah.
I saw the artwork for this, and when they released it, I was like, that artwork is gorgeous. I'm here for it. I want it. And then I saw the card, and I was like, eh.
It's an interesting commander for Boros, though.
It is.
So Gerard is a 4-mana 3/3 human soldier with first strike, and when he dies, you exile it and return it to the battlefield. Return to the battlefield all artifact and creature cards in your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. So
he's a good second main phase play.
Yeah, actually, I think he supports like red-white sweepers.
Yes.
If you build your deck around sweepers and then you let him die to them and then exile him, because then you just get all your stuff back.
Yes.
Which is a really fun idea as like a red-white control deck.
Yes.
But he's basically a second Sunrise.
Yeah, he's not bad, and like you said, if you play the whole sweepers game, but then exile him.
Yeah, you have to exile him.
So it's like a one-time effect. So it's a cool one-time effect.
Well, does exiling him out of the graveyard into the command zone count as exiling him for his effect?
Well, yes, because anytime you would move them zones.
Yeah.
So like you can choose. So for a commander, anytime it would change zones, you can instead choose to move it to the command zone. So it still counts as exiling it because you're like, oh, it's going into exile, but just kidding.
Yeah.
Command zone, at least from my understanding of how it works.
Yeah, and I think he is this interesting design space for commanders because generally commanders are thought of as like linchpins to your strategy, right? And Gerard acts as a way to protect your strategy as opposed to being a linchpin for it.
Yes. So as far as like potential commanders go, yeah, he's not bad. As far as he goes for being part of this deck, I mean, I'm a little skeptical.
He doesn't feel great in this deck. I agree.
He doesn't feel amazing,
but he's
if the ability works as we think we understand it to, then yes.
Yeah.
He's not a bad commander.
I think he's better than people give him credit for.
That's fair.
Alright, next one?
Yeah.
Merciless Rage.
Merciless Rage. Because the red deck, or the red-black deck, is built off of Madness, it just had to be different.
It just had to be different. Because, like, we don't have Madness in any other color. If you're not watching the visual version of this podcast.
It should be. I mean, if it was a third color, it'd be Grixis.
Yeah. But we have the intended commander for this deck, Anji Falcon Wrath.
Is it Anji or Ange?
I like to think it's Anji.
Anji?
Everybody I've heard says it's Anji. It could be Ange.
Or Anye?
I like Ange, but I
What about Anye?
Get out of here. I feel like Ange
No,
is
it's
too much.
on the J.
Now you can leave. We'll finish the episode without you. I feel like calling her Ange is like too like, yeah, I'm going over to Ange's
Yeah,
house later.
Ange.
Ange doesn't sound like Merciless
I'm pretty
Rage.
sure it's Anjay.
I'm gonna go with Anjay.
Okay.
And if you don't like that, you can yell at me later. She is a 3-drop, 1 and a black and a red for a 1/3 vampire with haste, and if you tap her, you get to discard a card and draw a card, and whenever you discard a card, if it has madness, you get to untap her.
I just want to say this card has all of the combo potential.
All of the combo.
Like, all of it. It doesn't even need to be a madness card. You could use it as like a reanimator card, a reanimator commander.
You can use it as a lot of things.
Like, it's just, I mean, it's already drawing you a card. It doesn't have to untap.
You're
looting.
You're looting. Yeah, you're looting, and it's good.
Or you're rummaging, I guess, is the...
I guess rummaging.
Yeah, it's
Sure,
rummaging,
we'll go
because
with
looting draws
rummaging.
first.
That's true. So you're rummaging, whatever. Still,
But yeah.
it's a good ability. And it's even better if you're playing the actual madness.
And what was that tribe that has all that madness in it from Shadows?
Oh man, I don't know, but I think it's
Vampires?
vampires?
Yeah, I think it's vampires.
Vampires.
I think there's actually a vampire that gives all of your vampires madness.
Do you see what they did there?
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's kind of on the nose.
Next up, another potential commander for this deck is Grevin Predator Captain. He's a 5-drop, 3 and Rakdos colors for a 5/5 human warrior with Menace. He gets plus X plus O, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn. And then whenever Graven attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you draw cards equal to that creature's power, and you lose life equal to that creature's toughness. Oh boy.
So Aristocrats is a thing with Grevin. Also, if you just run Hatred with him, or Greed, sorry, not Hatred, Greed.
I know.
Greed.
Yeah.
Greed is an enchantment. It lets you tap for, I believe, 2, pay life, and draw a card. And you just loop that, and then you punch them in the face with Grevin, then they're dead.
Oopsie!
And, I mean, you could do it at instant speed because it's a static ability, like it's a state-based ability.
Yes, because it's just, well, it's whenever he attacks.
No, well, the trigger for his power and toughness is state-based.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, you can do it. I attack with Grevin. Cool, I don't block. Awesome. I'll give him plus 10 plus O. Whoops.
I like this commander.
He could do some stuff.
Just give him lifelink.
Play the whip.
Yeah, you play Whip of Erebos with him.
Yeah.
Anyways, Chainer Nightmare Adept is a 4-drop, 2 generic, and Rakdos colors for a 3/2 human minion. You get to discard a card, and you may cast a creature card from your graveyard this turn. Activate this ability only once each turn, and then whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, if you didn't cast it from your hand, it gains haste until your next turn.
So Chainer really wants you to be a reanimator deck. Like,
It really
wants you to.
be a reanimator deck.
But I think it works really cleanly if you wanted to replace Anjay with Chainer.
I think it could. Yeah.
Just because it's an activated ability, you're discarding a card for the value. You're not going to draw a card off of it, but you do get to use the madness abilities that are inherently in the deck.
Right.
And then you can cast creature cards out of your graveyard.
Right. And I'll keep in mind, too, all three of the legendary, on-color creatures that come with these decks are, designed to be interchangeable with the precons.
Yeah.
So, they call it the madness deck, but, only so much of it is madness, and the rest of it is just stuff that works with it.
Yeah.
So, any of these commanders can potentially be, the good commander for it. I think Chainer is in a very good position to work with the madness because of the discard a card to do this ability thing.
But Greven feels like it wants to be its own deck.
Greven does kind of feel like it wants to be its own deck, but that doesn't mean it can't make it work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other cards in the deck.
So we're going to go over black first. Our first one is Archfiend of Spite. It's a 7 mana 6/6 flyer. I don't know why they didn't give it Flying Trample, because they've been doing that to all of the big demons so far. But whatever.
Because he wants to be different.
Okay. I'm not salty about it. Anyway, when basically says whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to Archfiend of Spite, that source's controller loses that much life unless they sacrifice that many permanents. So he's kind of he's a Phyrexian Obliterator.
He's good.
And then he's got Madness for 5, 3 and 2 black. He's a Phyrexian Obliterator that doesn't cost 4 mana.
Mm-hmm.
And has, 1 more point of toughness and flying. But he's really good. Our next...
Yeah, I mean, a 5 mana 6/6 with flying that does that is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're going to aim not to cast it with...
You want
the actual
to cast
CMC
stuff for their mana
for the mana cost, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
The next card is Curse of Fool's Wisdom. It's 4 and 2 black. And it's an enchantment, and it's a curse, so you're targeting a player. And then whenever an enchanted player draws a card, they lose 2 life, and you gain 2 life. It's got Madness 4. So you put this in the Nekasar decks. And wheel...
Nekasar!
You put this in any deck that's playing blue.
You play it in decks that wheel to victory.
Yes.
Because they go mad.
You enchant...
Locust God.
Yeah. Locust God can't do it.
Red, blue. Oh,
and it's black, yeah.
You can't do
God damn it!
You want this...
You want, that's
you want to put this on
Nekasar.
you want to put this on the blue player.
Yeah.
100%.
Or you are the blue player and you want to put it on someone else.
Or, yeah. Or
And then copy it 3 times.
God damn it! I was like, can I insert? I just wanted an excuse to build that Locust God deck again.
You didn't.
I don't know.
Yet. It's okay.
I mean, technically, you only need to draw 20 cards to kill someone with this, or make them draw 20 cards. But Crick is our 4th legend in this deck.
I didn't want to know how this guy was born.
Well, he's Yawgmoth's son, so he was.
Yawgmoth.
So he was genetically and mechanically altered. He's a Phyrexian.
James, I don't have time to explain the miracle of birth to you right now, nor do I think our listeners want to hear that.
I don't think that's within the scope of this podcast.
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah, it's not within the scope of this podcast to discuss
the miracle of life.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Let's call it the miracle of life.
Would it be the miracle on life, though, technically?
He's not undead.
He's just a horror minion.
Yeah.
I guess.
Anywho, I think this is the first time we've seen Phyrexian mana in a long time.
Yeah.
Long live the Phyrexian mana!
So Phyrexian mana is basically you can pay the color of the Phyrexian mana, or you can pay 2 life instead. So you can play Crick for 6 life and 4 mana, or you can play him for 7 mana,
or any
combination
of.
But he is a 2/2 horror minion with lifelink, and for each black in a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. And whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Crick, Son of Yawgmoth.
He turns all of your black mana into Phyrexian mana.
This guy is Suicide Black.
Suicide Black, yes.
Suicide Black is a cool archetype. I can say words. No.
I'm rubbing off on you.
But, so, the idea of Suicide Black is a deck that, instead of paying just mana in the fair way, they play a bunch of cards that use alternate resources, like life or creatures, generally life, for really powerful effects. So you could be just like Crick, and then all of my mono black spells cost colorless mana. Rar.
Whoopsie.
And you have 40 life in Commander, so you have a whole bunch of fuel to work off of.
Not to mention,
like he's got lifelink.
Black is one of the lifelink colors.
It's like that and white.
One of the most prominent lifelink colors. So let me just throw in, Crick, and we'll throw in like the new Bolus to Citadel, and we'll throw in.
Citadel is exactly what I was thinking about.
We'll throw in Bolus to Citadel, and we'll throw in like just a couple other things to be spicy. And I would definitely have what's his name, Razaketh in there.
Oh yeah.
And,
whew. So big man of black.
Excuse me, I'm just over here getting ready to go
Somebody's got a case of vapors.
A monocolored deck for Haley.
Haley's
What?
monocolored. But Haley might play a mono black deck.
Let me clutch my pearls.
What the fuck?
Next slide.
Next slide.
Just keep going.
Okay, we're gonna let Haley recover from that one. Our last black card is Nightmare.
You swear on the podcast.
Shut up and let Cody do his job.
Our last black card is Nightmare Unmaking. It's a 5 mana, 3 and 2 black for a mobile spell, a sorcery. You choose one. Exile each creature with power greater than the number of cards in your hand, or you exile each creature with power less than the number of cards in your hand. So, that's fun.
Oh my god, I'm a professional. I can do this.
No.
This is a great card. It reminds me of
Austere Command.
A little bit of Austere Command.
Yeah.
Like a black version of it, obviously.
A little bit, yeah. It just cares about cards in your hand instead of
choosing what you want to do.
Choosing CMC.
Yeah.
But that's a really cool way to do it. And
yeah, I mean,
this was something like Chainer. So, because Chainer just lets you discard cards, you can just I need this many cards. Okay, I'm gonna pitch these ones I don't need, and then just blow everything up.
This is great in so many. Yeah, it's you're playing goblins. Fuck you, goblins. Or you're playing big stompy dinosaurs. Fuck you, big stompy dinosaurs.
Or you could just throw all the cards out of your hand and choose the bottom effect and just wipe that, exile everything.
Repeat that?
So, because it chooses power, and 0 power creatures are fairly rare, you just empty your hand out and you play Nightmare Unmaking. And wipe everything. I mean, it exiles each creature with power less than or greater than. So if it's greater, then they get
Okay, I get what you're saying now. I was sitting there reading, you're like, you just pitch it, and okay. But you said with the second ability, and
I did say second ability.
You said the second ability, and that's why I'm sitting here trying to how the fuck does that work?
Anje's Ravager is a 3 mana 3/3 vampire that has to attack. And it's got madness cost of 2, or 1 and a red. And whenever it attacks, you discard your hand and draw 3 cards. So
you just empty your hand every turn. And
you empty it before you play Anje's Ravager, and then you attack with it.
That's what I'm saying. You just empty your hand each turn.
Yeah, and draw 3 cards.
Yes, it's good. Mono red burn.
Yeah.
Skyfire Phoenix. It is a 4-drop, 2 generic, 2 red for a 3/3 Phoenix with flying and haste. And when you cast your commander, return it from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Yeah, it's a Phoenix.
It's a Phoenix. It does what Phoenix things do. It has a
comes back
for its Phoenix ability. Moving on. You got Wildfire Devils, which is a 4-drop, 3 generic, and 1 red for 4/2 Devil. When it enters the battlefield, at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. That player exiles an instant or sorcery card from their graveyard, copy that card, and you may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
This random player does include yourself.
Ooh.
So you're basically choosing between however many players are playing at the time, and then you get a spell.
It's like another Charmbreaker Devils, but random
kind of.
Everybody.
It's fairly chaotic, but I mean, it's a devil, so. I don't know what they do.
Devils are chaotic, I would like to think. They sow grief and harvest plea.
Yay! There's one frolicking in the back of that art. Like, just kidding. Just
like totally
happily skipping
across the field.
Yeah.
Then we have Aeon Generator.
Aeon
Engine. Why did I say generator?
I don't know.
What was I looking at?
I don't know.
The previous card was a generator.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Aeon Engine. But I totally... Anyways, Aeon Engine is a 5-drop artifact. It enters the battlefield tapped, and you can tap it to exile it and reverses the game's turn order.
So you wait until your opponent starts their turn, and then you tap it and exile it. You get another turn. Like the opponent that goes right after you, you exile and then you get another one.
Why not?
Because that's how that works. This card is all about the chaos.
All about the chaos. And then you have Sanctum of Eternity, which is a land, and it taps to add a colorless, or you can pay 2 generic to tap it and return a target commander you own from the battlefield to your hand. Activate this ability only during your turn.
It's cool with commanders that have really powerful enter the battlefield effects.
It is kind of cool, yeah.
So like,
especially if you're messing
like
with
General
Tazri
Tazri or Sisei or other cards that just enter the battlefield and do a thing.
Yeah. No, this once again, we're skipping commander tax.
Yeah.
2, you're abusing the hell out of the enter the battlefield triggers, which is great.
Yeah. So like all of the Maelstrom Wanderer deck all the Maelstrom Wanderer players are going to be playing Sanctum just to recast it.
I just thought of that. It's so okay. That's great. Next.
Okay.
We have the last deck of the cycle, and the one that I am most excited about.
This is kind of the Kool-Aid Man of the 4 decks that we're getting. It is there. For all the decks, everyone else is like, oh no, this one is, oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Our title commander is Girid, Conclave Exile. It's 5 mana, 2 in Naya colors, for a 2/5 human shaman, and when he enters the battlefield, he makes a 4/4 rhino with trample. And then whenever he attacks, you populate the token enters the battlefield tapped and attacking. So if you're able to make, what populate does is you pick a creature token and you make a copy of it. So if you're able to make, generally you want to make tokens of like really powerful creatures that you already have in the deck, or creatures that exist on the battlefield somehow.
Or if you're playing the other commander we're about to talk about, eggs!
We have the two sub-commanders. The first one is Atla Palani, Nest Tender. She's a 4 mana 2/3, human shaman. And you can pay 2 and tap her to create a 0/1 green egg creature token with Defender. And whenever an egg you control dies, you reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card onto the battlefield, and then rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
It's so disgusting.
So I really like the idea. I really like the idea of Atla Palani with cards like Goblin Bombardment or Evolutionary Leap, where you're sacrificing creatures to get more creatures because you get 2 triggers out of that. You're going to reveal to a creature that's going to go to your hand and the one that goes to your battlefield.
Yeah, that's really good.
For like a green mana.
Egg tribal. But you have to build it with like the shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Or not the shapeshifters, the changelings.
Okay, yeah.
The ones with the changeling ability, so they like every creature type.
Yeah.
So that you're just cycling through eggs to get to really, really good stuff.
Or you just put a whole bunch of the token doublers in the deck, and you just
add
a whole bunch of value creatures.
Yeah, I think this would be really fun.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, if you're able to do like 3 or 4 eggs at a time with Atla Palani. And just pop them all for 4 creatures a turn.
So good.
In response to what your opponent's doing.
So good.
Our last one is Marisi, Breaker of the Coil. It's 4 mana, 1 Naya for a 5/4, and your opponents can't cast spells during combat. Which is always fun on a 5/4 for 4. And then it says, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, go to each creature that player controls. So what Go does is that creature then has to attack, but it can't attack you.
Yeah, it has to attack each combat if able, and attack a player other than you if able.
So I think we can safely say that Marisi kind of stirs the pot.
Not only can you not cast spells during combat.
Yeah.
I could, but you can't.
Yeah.
But also, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, they have to attack, but not you.
Can we also say that it's a cat?
It is a cat, yeah.
That's important, because, like, all the really good cats are in Naya colors.
Yeah, you could do cat tribal.
You could, I mean, go
There's
wide.
already a cat tribal, but you could do
it.
an even better one.
Okay, next one.
We have Doomed Artisan, which is a 3-drop, 2 generic, 1 white for a 1/1 human artificer. He says, sculptures you control can't attack or block. And at the beginning of your end step, create a colorless sculpture artifact creature token with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of sculptures you control.
Make a bunch of walls.
But they can't attack or block.
Until he dies.
Until he dies.
Hence why he's doomed.
Yeah, basically, if he's able to sit on the battlefield for a while, or if you're able to double the amount of tokens he produces, like increase it,
Yeah.
you can, like, he sits there for a turn or two, and then you make a bunch of guys, and then you pitch him for value. And then you got a whole bunch of big fat dudes that you can attack with.
Yeah. Theoretically, that's how it works.
Or, like, even with Geared, you can populate them, so...
That's right, this is the populate deck.
Yeah. So you can kind of speed it up.
Yep, it's clicking now. I get it. Next up is Commander's Insignia. It's a 4-drop enchantment. It's 2 generic and 2 white. For creatures you control, get +1/+1 for each time you've cast your commander from the commands of this game.
So this seems really great with, like, the SRAM decks and the partner commander decks.
Yeah.
Because it ticks for each commander that you've cast in the command zone.
Yes.
So if you got 2 commanders, it's 2.
Any commander that you can play a bunch of times, this is very efficient in. But, like, if we're talking about, like, my 5-color Super Friends deck, forget it. This
This card's terrible. But your cards your decks that are like SRAM or your mono white soldier decks that usually have like a 2-mana commander on it.
Yeah.
Or
this is really good in white weenies.
Or like Tajik, like 3-mana Tajik.
You could do that, yeah. Any deck you can play your commander in a bunch of times, this is amazing.
Gerard.
Yeah, that can work. Next up we have Song of the World Soul. It is a 6-drop enchantment, 4 generic and 2 white. Whenever you cast a spell, populate.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
So now we've got a global populate effect. I don't know why it's 6 mana. I think they could have gotten away with 5, but it's really good.
I think 6 is just fine.
You think 6 is just fine?
I think 6 is just fine.
Well, the thing is you need to have a creature token out for populate to take effect, right?
Yes.
And if you have no creature tokens, then it does nothing.
Correct.
So.
But chances are, it's 6 mana. By turn 6, you're gonna have creature tokens to populate.
That's true.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, Song of the World Soul seems really good with Doomed Artisan too.
Only a lot. Moving on.
Our next cards are Full Flowering. It's double X and green. It lets you populate X times. This is a fantastic card.
Oh yeah.
You just dump all of your mana into this, and you make a bunch of dudes. I mean, it's very, very green.
It's a very much a green sync spell.
If only it had Convoke.
No. That's where I draw the line, Kenny. We're done with your Kenny level bullshit.
Okay. Our next card.
That would be so stupid. Like, let me tap all of the copies of the creature tokens that I made in turn previous. Let's make 1,000,000.
Let's just double my tokens, yeah. Or
with the doubling season on the board.
Yeah, let's do it. Our next card is Orin Frostfang, which is 3 and double green for a snow creature snake. It's 2/6, and it says attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I like this card a lot.
I think the choice to make it a snow creature is a very interesting one.
I think so too, but they've been doing a lot to kind of bolster the snow archetype.
They have, like, with Modern Horizons, we just got, like, all the full art snowlands and stuff, but I think that's great. I just think it's a very interesting choice, because maybe I'm just not seeing the full picture yet.
Something in the future, I'm guessing.
Something in the future, I'm sure. Or, like, some future project, or maybe it's just, other cards from this deck that we're not talking about that I, like, looked over or something like that, but I think the choice to make it a snow creature has to be a very deliberate one. And I find myself questioning it, though I'm not upset. I just think it's interesting.
I feel like they wanted to make snow cards more available.
That's fair.
Just because it is a popular mechanic, it's got a big following behind it.
Oh yeah, snow, like when you play with the snow mechanic, it can be really cool. It's just like usually the stuff that is a snow card has like more of a visible purpose behind it, and you can like understand it. Whereas like it's a snake, it could be a snake in or not in the snow. But don't get me wrong, I definitely think it's interesting. I think you could see like in the future getting even more snow cards. I'd be down for it. I'm not opposed to it. I just think it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is important to note that it is a snow creature.
Yeah.
Because of that.
Yep. Our last card on this slide is one of my favorites that we have here on this entire presentation.
Of course it is.
It's 3 mana and 3/3 for a Centaur Druid, Selesnya Eulogist, and you pay 3 mana, 2 and a green, to exile target creature card from a graveyard, then populate. So it's just incidental sync value for your mana when you don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
And if you're running cards that make tokens out of other creatures in the graveyard, or if you're doing things that are just incidentally making tokens, you can be like, cool, in response to your attack, I'm going to pay 9 mana and make 3 dudes in black.
It also eats up opponents' graveyards.
Yeah, that's an important thing. So if someone's...
Yeah, because it's from a graveyard, so you're
it can be
eating up
opponents.
your opponent's graveyard.
It does have to be a creature. So
yeah, so if there's no creatures in graveyards, obviously it's not going to do that
So
much,
against
but
the
it
Skull
is
Slayer
eating...
deck, it's not going to do much. But against most Reanimator decks, it's
Against the Reanimator deck, this is nuts, and I love it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
This is great. This is, I'm sorry, you're doing what? You're reanimating everything? No, you're not.
In response to targeting it, no. But it's a really cool card, and it's a really cool answer for green to deal with, like, the black X Reanimator decks.
Yes.
That are really, really powerful in Commander.
Yes.
So.
Next up, we have Gear's Belligerence. I personally am a big fan of this card. It's X and double red for a sorcery. It deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures, and whenever a creature dealt damage this way dies this turn, populate.
Yep, it's a fireball that populates.
It's a fireball that populates.
I mean, it's
what
it does.
It's a really good mana sink.
Yeah.
Especially because you're dividing the damage as you choose among any number of creatures. So I can just sink a ton of mana into this, wipe the board, and populate for it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It definitely is.
Good. Tangarth?
Tangarth, yeah.
Tangarth? I think that's Tangarth.
It's Tangarth.
Tangarth. First mate. He is a 4-drop 5/5, 2 generic, 1 red and 1 green for a Minotaur warrior. He can't be blocked by more than 1 creature, and when an opponent attacks with 1 or more creatures, if he is tapped, you may have that opponent gain control of him until end of combat. If you do, choose a player or planeswalker that opponent is attacking, and Tangarth is attacking that player or planeswalker.
This is a really cool Voltron commander.
That's a lot of text.
It's a really cool Voltron commander.
It could be.
Basically, you suit him up, and when someone makes an attack on someone else, you'd be like, here, have this guy.
Here, you want to be friends?
And then someone dies, and you low-key get to kill a bunch of players because other people are attacking for you.
Yeah. It's kind of good.
Yeah, all you have to do is put an effect on him that says he can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures, or gives him menace of some kind, and he just can't be blocked.
You just can't be blocked by more than 1 creature naturally.
Menace is the opposite of that.
Oh, yeah. Has to be blocked.
Has to be blocked by 2 or more creatures.
Can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Oh no.
So just give him menace.
Oh no. And then we have Idol of Oblivion, which is a 2-drop artifact. You can tap it to draw a card. You can activate this ability only if you created a token this turn. or you can pay 8 generic, tap it, sacrifice it, and create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token.
I like the first ability better than the second one.
Agreed.
Just
because drawing a card is amazing, but also a free 10/10. It's not free, you paid 8 mana for it, but like, let's be real. It's a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token
that you can populate.
Yeah. That's not bad.
It's not.
I think that's, yeah.
We got some more new toys.
These are all cards that were in multiple decks, not just one.
Our first one is Cliffside Rescuer, which is a 2-mana, 2/2 core soldier with vigilance. Then you can tap it and sacrifice it, and target permanent you control gains protection from each of your opponents until end of turn. So, you
Seems pretty good.
Protection. It's pretty good. Next we have Leadership Vacuum, which is 2 and a blue for an instant, and target a player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone, and then you draw a card.
I like that it says returns each commander they control.
Yeah,
so like if you're playing,
decks.
yeah, if you're playing against someone who's playing partners,
or if they
all
stole
of their commanders,
or if they stole multiple commanders,
or if they stole people's commanders. Yes.
Yeah. And then our last one is Mire and Misery, which is 1 and a black for sorcery, and each opponent sacrifices a creature or enchantment.
Nope, it says target player returns each commander they control. So only the commanders they control, so it doesn't matter if... Oh no, each commander they control.
Yeah, because the other players own it.
Never mind. The other player owns it,
yes.
but that player controls it. Okay. Words are tricky.
But like if someone stole your Tangarth or your
if somebody's just playing take control, you're like, I've got all of the commanders, they're all gone.
And then you the blue player just bounces them away.
Yeah. Okay. So James has decided we're moving on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, we're good. We can move on. Hate Mirage. It is a 4-drop sorcery, 3 generic and 1 red. Choose up to 2 target creatures you don't control. For each of those creatures, create a token that's a copy of that creature. Those tokens gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the next end step.
Okay. So you're making copies of 2 creatures that you can populate and keep the populated tokens.
You can do that. That is a thing. Yes.
So you could be like, cool, I'm gonna make a copy of your Absinthe, and I'm gonna make a copy of your, I don't know, Craterhoof.
This isn't exclusively in the Naya deck, but it's pretty good in there.
It's pretty good in the Naya deck.
Yeah.
But then you copy them, and then you get to keep the copies and exile the ones that you made with Hate Mirage.
Yes.
But I mean, it just messes with combat math, which is always great.
Yes. Next up we have Bloodthirsty Blade. It is a 2-drop artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and is goated. So it attacks each combat if able and attacks a player other than you if able. And then for 1 generic you can attach it to a target creature an opponent controls and activate this ability only at any time you could activate a sorcery. So it's like, it's kind of a twisted equipment because it doesn't have like the traditional equipped cost. The equipped cost on it is you equipped it to something your opponent controls, so that it's making it more powerful, but it can't attack you.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. Just being able to say, that's a cool big fat guy you got over there. That's a cool Ulamog you got. Here, go attack someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Go hit somebody else with that.
I don't want to deal with Annihilator. Go away.
Right. We have Scare Tiller, which is a 4-drop artifact creature, Scarecrow. When it becomes tapped, you get to choose one. You may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped, or return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It's a 1/4. I think I don't remember if I said that or not. But this is good, because whatever reason it becomes tapped, so like if you're playing it in the Naya deck and you're playing some sort of convoke costs, or you're attacking with it, just any reason you could tap it, you get to play an extra land.
Or like using cards like
Earthbound
to it, where you're tapping creatures to untap lands, and then you get more lands out of it.
Yeah. That's really good.
That's real fun.
Yes.
Just put an Umbral Mantle on it, untap it, do it again.
Is that the last one?
That is the last one.
That was the last one. Scaretiller, I believe, is the only one that's in all 4
decks.
decks.
Because it's a common.
Yeah, because it's a common, Scaretiller has made it into all 4 of the decks, and it's the only card, like the new card, that has made it into all 4 decks.
It's actually a really good card when you think about it for like the colors that don't ramp as well as like green and black.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because every time it taps, for whatever reason you're tapping it for, whatever, you get an extra land.
So like white and blue have a way to just dump their lands into play.
Mm-hmm. Alright, well, that is all 4 of the new Commander 2019 decks, and all of the new cards that came out in them.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the Sultai, the Naya, and the Rakdos deck.
I'm super hyped up about the Naya deck. That is like the one that I have all of my interest invested in right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm actually psyched about the Rakdos deck more than all of them.
Rakdos deck is really cool.
Yeah. I think they're all really cool decks. It's just, like I said at the beginning, they're all pretty stylized this year, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's probably a pretty good thing because they chose mechanics that specifically didn't have a ton of support or hadn't had support in a really long time. So that's really cool that we're getting it all back.
Or like not enough support to function as
a commander deck. Right. So I think it's really cool that they did this year. But that being said, they're very stylized, so they're very different play styles. So it's like where years past somebody could pick up all 4 as like any type of player and probably play them. This is very like much. I like spell slinging. I like
incremental value decks, or
like
go
I like
spell
games. Yeah. So I think it's really cool, and I am really excited for Friday. I will be definitely picking up the Naya deck on Friday.
I kind of want to pick up the Salt deck because I already have an idea for the Morph deck.
Of course you do, Kenny.
Because Morphy goodness.
Well, I think that's all for tonight. So why don't you guys hit us up in the comments and let us know what decks you're most excited about.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Not particularly. I think we're going to try and stay a bit more regular after this week.
Yeah, like, once again, sorry for the last couple weeks. Like we said, life happens.
Yeah.
But as of right now, we're returning to our usual schedule.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next Wednesday. James, why don't you take us out of here?
All right, you can catch us every Wednesday here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/MoveToCombat. You can tweet us at @ToCombat or email us at movetocombatpodcast@gmail.com. If you like our intro and outro music, you can check it out at soundcloud.com/JamesShive. That's James, SHAIEB. That's me. Feel free to download and comment and whatever you want to do with any of our music on there. If you like role-playing games, we will be starting up the sister podcast, this podcast Brady Get Stupid soon again. We had a hiccup with that show as well, so
I'm on that one now as well.
Yeah, Kenny's not going to be on that show.
Like
so if you like Kenny, you're going to be seeing him on 2 shows.
You can see him twice as much now.
Yeah, we had some players needed to change schedules, and I needed to get off Saturdays. So that'll be coming to you on Friday nights from now on at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned for that. All right, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a good one.